Hello, you're watching VNA News and now highlights.
Speaker of the Saudi Arabian Parliament, Abdullah Al-Sheikh visits Vietnam. Japanese expert applauds success of the 12th National Party Congress. Vietnam emerges as the fourth largest wood exporter in the world.
Chairman of the National Assembly, Nguyen Sinh Hung, held talks with his Saudi Arabian counterpart, Abdullah Al-Sheikh, in Hanoi on February the 1st. More in the following report.
Chairman Hung spoke highly of the Saudi Arabian delegation's visit, hoping that it would contribute to the enhancement of friendly and cooperative relations between the countries and parliaments as well. He called on Saudi Arabia to create more favorable conditions for its enterprises to invest in Vietnam, and soon signed economic and investment cooperation deals to lay a foundation for the cooperation among businesses of the two nations. The Vietnamese leader stressed the need to increase the exchange of delegations at all levels and step up cooperative ties between the two legislatures. For his part, Speaker Abdullah Al-Sheikh affirmed that Saudi Arabia always wants to promote its fine relations with Vietnam and considers the country an important partner in Asia. Both leaders noted that the two legislative bodies should continue mutual support at regional and international forums and enhance the sharing of experience in legislation, supervision, and making important decisions of each country.
President of the Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee, Nguyễn Thiện Nhân, on February the 1st, visited Most Venerable Thích Phổ Tuệ, Supreme Patriarch of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, and other Buddhist dignitaries ahead of the Lunar New Year festival. At the meeting at Viên Minh Pagoda in Hanoi's Phu Xuân district, Nhân wished the most vulnerable good health to continue leading the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, contributing to national development. He recalled the National Conference on Religion's role in environmental protection and climate change response in December last year. 40 religious organizations from 14 religions signed a cooperative program on environmental protection with the Vietnam Fatherland Front and the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment. The front leader said Buddhism is an important player in the campaign, noting his hope that the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha will make more contributions to building the national Great Unity Bloc. Most Venerable Thích Phổ Tuệ extended wishes for a happy and prosperous New Year to members of the Vietnam Fatherland Front Standing Committee. According to a survey conducted in 2009, Buddhism constitutes the largest religious community in Vietnam, with more than 6.8 million followers and almost 15,000 temples, monasteries, and other places of worship. The theme of the 12th National Congress of the Communist Party Vietnam has devoted space to national protection, making it different from previous events. Professor Furuta Moto, an expert on Vietnam at the University of Tokyo, made this comment in an interview granted to Vietnam News Agency correspondents.
Professor Moto stressed that one of the spotlights of the Congress is democracy. He quoted the political report presented at the Congress as saying that democracy in the party is the nucleus to promoting democracy in society. Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng re-election as a party chief demonstrates that the Communist Party of Vietnam attaches importance to the sense of inheritance and stability. The party's leadership role has been promoted thanks to its idea that considers the people as the root and makes breakthroughs right from lower levels. I think it is a precious tradition of the Communist Party of Vietnam. Professor Moto spoke highly of Vietnam's foreign policy. Amidst the rapid, complicated, and unpredictable developments of the regional and international situations, Vietnam does not pursue a policy of confrontation, but attaches importance to maintaining a peaceful and stable environment while safeguarding the nation. Regarding Vietnam-Japan relations, Professor Moto noted his belief that the external guidelines put forth by the Congress will contribute to fostering the strategic partnership between the two countries.
Vietnam's export turnover is estimated to hit $13.8 billion in January, slightly increasing by 0.5% against the previous month. We have more in the following report.
The foreign direct investment sector contributed $9.7 billion to the country's export revenue, rising by 4.8%, while the domestic sector witnessed a drop of 8.7% in export value. The export of phones and components and computers and spare parts increased significantly this month, up by 44.3% and 7.1% respectively. Products which saw declines in exports included garments and textiles with a drop of 9.4% and crude oil with a drop of 23% in volume and 40% in value. The U.S. remained Vietnam's biggest export market in January, with a total export value of $3.1 billion, up by 17.3% over the same period last year. The revised statistics of the General Statistics Office revealed that Vietnam's export value in 2015 was $162.1 billion, down $327 million compared to the previous estimated figure. With the revised import turnover at $165.6 billion, the country ran a trade deficit of $3.5 billion, $300 million higher than the previous estimate. Last year's trade deficit was equivalent to 2.2% of the country's export turnover. Vietnam has targeted export revenue of $178 billion in 2016, rising by 10% over 2015, with a trade deficit below 5% of the export turnover.
With $6.9 billion in revenue from the export of wood and wood-based products in 2015, Vietnam has become the fourth biggest wood exporter in the world, following China, Germany, and Italy. Of the total exports, Vietnam earned $4.3 billion from shipping wood-based products to foreign countries, up 7.8% over 2014. The US, China, Japan, and the EU remained Vietnam's largest wood consumption markets. Exports of wood and wood-based products are expected to grow at a pace of 8 to 10%. And stand at $7.2 to $7.3 billion in value this year. Currently, the producers are paying attention to adding more value to their products by increasing the use of technology in processing and enhancing management and sale capacity. Meanwhile, Vietnamese wood products have secured a foothold in the domestic market. Demand for wood commodities is expected to surge in 2016, thanks to upbeat signs from the real estate market, especially the apartment segment in previous year. Vietnam's retail sales of goods and services were estimated at $13.4 billion in January, up 11.7% from the same period last year.
Data from the General Statistics Office revealed retail sales of goods reached $10.2 billion, up 12% from last year, of which garments and textiles are estimated to have increased 12.9% and food and foodstuffs 11.5%. Retail sales growth was triggered by the increasing demand in preparation for the Lunar New Year. During the month, Vietnam saw 8,320 new enterprises begin operations, with total capital of $2.7 billion, representing a 21.2% year-on-year increase in the number of new businesses and an 87% year-on-year rise in capital. More than 4,870 firms also resumed operations, up 69.6% against the same period last year. According to the office, this January had the highest number of firms resuming operation in the past few years. However, the number of firms that have either suspended or shut down operations in the month was also high.
The Ministry of Labour, Invalids and Social Affairs has announced that nearly 116,000 Vietnamese labourers were sent to work abroad last year.
Specifically, 115,980 laborers were employed overseas, surpassing the year's target by 22%. Of the figure, the women accounted for 33.3%. 2015 marks the second consecutive year that the number of Vietnamese laborers sent abroad exceeded 100,000. Taiwan is the top market of Vietnamese workers, with 67,121 laborers, accounting for 57.87% of the total number. It is followed by Japan, with 27,010 workers, and the Republic of Korea, with 6,019 workers. Official statistics showed that Vietnam sent 106,840 laborers to work abroad in 2014.
20 paintings featuring Vietnamese people and landscapes drawn by children in Central Asia and Eastern Europe are being displayed in Kremlin Palace of Russia. Let's join us to take a look. The drawings were selected from 356 submissions to a painting contest about Vietnam and Russia, which targeted children between 2 and 16 from Russia, Uzbekistan, Slovenia, and Serbia. Among these pictures are Forever Young by 14-year-old Mavliva Mila, Mother and Children by 16-year-old Invadova Debia, and Happy Winter by 9-year-old Nguyễn Tuấn Đạt. The contests were organized by the Russia-Vietnam Friendship Association in October 2015 to celebrate the country's 65 years ties. 9 children won the competition and 5 of them won a trip to Vietnam. According to the association, the contest has shown Russian children's interest in Vietnam, a faraway land that not all locals know about. The young painters mostly looked for drawing materials in books and on the internet. More competition of this kind should be organized to increase mutual understanding. For most Vietnamese, the Lunar New Year festival has actually begun with the Ông Công Ông Táo, or Land Genie and Kitchen God ceremony on the 23rd of the last month of Lunar Year, which falls on February the 1st this year. On this day, every family is busy staging a farewell ceremony for the Land Genie and the Kitchen Gods on the yearly visit to heaven. The Kitchen Gods, the guardian spirit of the kitchen, are believed to comprise 2 male gods and 1 female, who bless the household and keep up the kitchen fire, making every member of the family happy and well off. As the legend goes, the Land Genie and the Kitchen Gods will ride cabs to heaven on the day to deliver an annual report on the household's activities to the God of heaven. As the gods make their journey on the back of fish, it is traditional to release live cabs into lakes or rivers, which is considered a kind-hearted deed to pray for good luck. On New Year's Eve, both genies will return to Earth and resume their caretaking duties in the kitchen of the house. Although residents in each region across the country pay their homage to Ông Công and Ông Táo in slightly different ways, the gods remain important figures in the rich textures of Vietnamese New Year. The fire in the kitchen is a symbol of not only warm family union, but also a bumper harvest and agricultural development of Vietnamese people. The custom of worshipping the kitchen gods reflects Vietnamese respect of family happiness. And that has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye for now.